What am I making today? I am making two different variations of the same thing. I am making a regular dill green bean and a spicy dill green bean. So these are both pickled products. I will be steam canning them in my most loved steam canner. And if you're interested in seeing where I got my steam canner or what it's about, be sure to check that, the link in the description below. As well, I will be putting the exact measurements down in the description below. I'm only making half of the recipe, keep that in mind, half of both recipes. So let me get started. It's really easy. Here I have regular vinegar, white wine vinegar, and water. So I add that to a saucepan. And I have some salt, pickling salt. Remember, when you're canning, you're always using pickling salt, coarse salt, sea salt, not your regular table salt. So your salt and some sugar. So we're gonna put these on the stove just enough to heat it up, bring it to a boil and dissolve those. And the rest are gonna be packed into hot jars. So what we have here is fresh dill, we have Thai chili peppers, mustard seeds, crushed black peppercorns, and some crushed garlic. So we're gonna heat this up and then get back and stuff our jars. I'm going to start with the spicy recipe first. So as you can see, I'm not usually this organized with my green beans. It's just that you have to put the cut sides up in the bottle, so I just wanted to go a little bit faster. And to prepare your Thai chili peppers, you have to leave your chili pepper intact, but just make a little slice along the edge so the brine can get in it and get all those flavors out. So leave it intact with a little slit in the middle. Crush your peppercorns, crush your garlic. Now let's start filling those jars. They're warming on the stove in my canner. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to add half a teaspoon of your crushed peppercorns in your jar and half a teaspoon of your mustard seeds. One clove of crushed garlic in each jar. So you want to pack your jars with your green beans, and you can mix the green, the yellow, whatever you prefer, and you put them the cut side up. Not sure if I specified, but when you prepare your green beans, you need to wash them well. They're all prepared in advance, and then you just cut the tip off where it attaches to the plant. So you leave the other side on. So you cut the stem side and leave the other side on, and you put the cut side up in your jar. So we're gonna tip this to the side. Make sure that your green beans or your beans are no more than 4 inches tall, because you need to leave a good ½ inch of head space at the end once you get your brine in. And then just pack your jar. The more you put in, the more you can eat after. But make sure that you leave yourself a little bit of room to add your chili peppers and your dill. Makes for a really pretty colorful jar. Once you get it in your jar, you want to add the brine that you've warmed up inside to ½ inch of headspace. So once you've finished adding your liquid, your brine that you've created, you want to make sure to remove all the air bubbles. So just go down with a utensil, something plastic, and just make sure all the air bubbles are removed. Make sure they're ½ inch below the head space. And then you wipe down your rims like usual with water. Add your caps. Your rings are just fingertip tight. transfer them over to your canner. So those were the spicy ones. We can do both recipes in the steamer at the same time because the processing time is the same. So basically we do the same thing. The only difference with these is that we're going to be adding the garlic in the bottom, and I'm going to be making 3 jars of this. So we add the garlic. Then once again you add your beans cut side up. And then you add your dill and the brine. So like I say, the brine is a little bit different as well for this. So this brine is just your vinegar and your water and your salt. So there's no sugar, there's no extra spices. So just stuff your jars. If you need some help getting your beans, you can take your plastic, if you have one of these or anything really, a spoon, and you can really push down on your beans and it'll help you pack them in. Same thing as well to get your dill in there. If you hold it down, and you can just kind of slide it in so it doesn't destroy the dill, and it makes it, you can really see the dill up all along the bottom. It just kind of makes it a little prettier, I guess. So once you have everything in your jar, same thing, fill it with the other brine that you've made for the regular dill beans, not the spicy, and you just backfill until your jars are full. It's really simple. Make sure to remove the air bubbles. Leave ½ inch of headspace. Wipe off the rim of your jar. Put your cap on. Your ring fingertip tight, and transfer over to your canner. Once you've got all your jars inside of your canner, like I said, this is my steam canner. If you're unfamiliar with steam canning, be sure to check out my video. I do have a video. I'm actually preparing relish, and I go into a lot more detail on how to use the steam canner, so be sure to check out that video. So you put your cover on top, you're going to turn up the heat and bring this to a really good boil. There's a dial on the top that's going to tell you when you're at the right temperature for the altitude that you live in. The altitude that you live in can affect your processing time and the temperature that you need to process your jars at. So be sure to make sure you're at the right altitude. Once this gets into the proper temperature for my altitude, we time this for 15 minutes and that's it. The process will be done. Once the 15 minutes are up, we turn the heat off, let them sit in the canner with the cover on for 5 more minutes just to let everything rest. If you remove them too fast, it can cause loss of liquid inside of your jars. It can also cause some breaking. Just let them sit for 5 minutes. It's really not that long and it's well worth it. So there you go. I've ended up with 5 jars of dill beans, 2 spicy and 3 regular. These are going to be absolutely delicious. We're going to let them sit for a couple weeks to let the vinegar and the spices kind of absorb into the bean, and after that we'll be able to open them up and either serve them in a nice Caesar drink as a little garnish, or maybe just eat them straight out of the bottle. As always, make sure to write on the top of the jar what year you canned it. Make sure to leave your jars untouched for 24 hours. You don't want to move them around because it can affect your seal. After that 24 hours is up, make sure to remove your rings. Never store them with the rings on top. Store them in a dry, dark, cool place, and they'll last for a year, even beyond that. So if you like this video, if you like the content, don't be shy. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I have new content. Give it a like, give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to check back again soon to see what other content I'll have coming out.